Hey everybody, I'm Todd Anderson.
I'm Ross Merriam.
And you're watching the Versus series by StarCityGames.com. So today we're going to cap off the week on the Versus series, playing the final match of the Blue-Red Delver Gauntlet against
Blue-White Miracles.
Modern Staple, Blue-White Miracles. Now, this is a deck that's been cropping up a lot on Magic Online lately. We've seen it a little bit at the team opens in the Modern seat, and honestly, Terminus has really impressed me.
Yeah, the Blue-White deck, this list in particular, the Miracles list, has a lot of sweepers. There's usually 3 or 4 copies of Terminus, 1 or 2 Supreme Verdicts, and a Wrath of God, like 0 to 1 Wrath of God.
Just to get around the Meddling Mage problem.
Yeah, so usually about six different sweepers with 3 different names. Ends up being very good against humans. Terminus, especially whenever you get it for its Miracle, just being so cheap against Thalia is really important. I remember when I was playing humans, a lot of the times you would tempo them out, and then they'd need you get so far ahead that they need a sweeper to catch up, but Thalia cut them off of that for the 1 extra turn you needed to finish them off, or leave you with a Mantis Rider that was lethal. So,
or it gives you like an extra turn so you can find a freebooter or meddling mage to take it from them,
Yeah, a lot of different options there, but Terminus is just a really powerful card against these aggressive decks. You can get it at instant speed with Opt, which is great, and the power of the sweepers on the deck allow you to play more Planeswalkers. You have 3 copies of Jace, 2 of Teferi. It's really nice if you go Teferi plus untap 2 lands, Opt on your turn, Terminus you. I cannot imagine losing against a creature deck after doing that.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Terminus can cost 1 at various points, either you're, casting an Opt or something and getting lucky and finding a Terminus, or you're hitting it on your draw step. You get to clear the board the same turn or the turn before you get to cast like a Planeswalker. And whenever you get to play something like Jace the Mind Sculptor or Teferi, Hero of Dominaria on an empty battlefield, that's lights out. For 90% of the non-combo decks in Modern or whatever, I would say that's just game over.
Yeah, that's just how creature decks work. They're not recovering from something like that. You still got a lot of good counter spells, so we're going to fight some counter wars here. I've got Path Exiles for spot removal if I need them. I think there's usually a couple Snapcasters in these lists, 1, maybe 2, and some other cool stuff going on. It's a deck that I think has a lot of potential, and one that's a little bit unexplored because people have been pretty focused on Jeskai. I think Blue-White transitions away from its removal more easily than Jeskai does and becomes more of a traditional control deck or aggregate control deck with Vendilion Click against combo decks, which is really nice. And then having the more stable mana base, more basics, don't have to take as much damage is also cool.
Sure. All right, well, that's going to be the matchup today. We're going to play the last matchup of Blue-Red Wizards, a.k.a. Jeff Hoogland's 13-0 into top 8 at SCG Indianapolis. Weirdo deck, but everyone was loving it on coverage. This whole week, if you haven't seen the videos yet, make sure to tune in or check out the ones we did earlier in the week. We played 4 matches so far with this Blue-Red Delver deck against all of Modern's biggest hits. It's not going well. 1-3.
1 of 3 matches, but you've lost 3 2-1s, and you've had some mana issues in the games. I think had you not had mana issues, you would have been able to steal at least one of those, and then things would be looking a lot rosier.
Yeah, but I mean, that's going to happen when you're playing like Delver of Secrets in your deck, for example, because you need to have like a low land count and a low creature count to make sure Delver can flip. And if you have like a lot of creatures and a lot of lands, like the odds of it naturally flipping are very low. And since this version doesn't play Serum Visions, like it's pretty hard to flip a Delver of Secrets naturally. I mean, we've seen time and time again, like I think in the 4 matches we played so far, I've only flipped it twice.
Maybe you just need more cantrips.
It's possible. No, I mean, I think this deck could use some work. Even Jeff Hoogland himself said, he had a stellar performance in the Swiss, eventually losing in top 8 to some poor draws in the wrong spots against a humans opponent. I think that this deck could use some work. I'm very excited to see what Jeff's thoughts on the deck are. But for now, we're going to continue playing his list against Blue-White Miracles. Let's get to the die roll. All right, 7-11 games, see who goes first. 7, you lose. 11, you win. 7 versus 11. The 11 goes first all 3 games. Oh, I died.
Okay, we're here for game 1. I'm on the play. This hand it's fine. I mean, I've got an Opt to smooth my draws. I got some lands, got some other spells to interact. We'll see how it goes.
Yep, dude, I'm in love with my hand. I don't know I quote unquote don't know what I'm playing against, but I would love this hand against basically anything.
Okay. Well, I got a colonnade.
Well, that's a good hand against colonnade decks. All right, 18. Delver Secrets. Let's see if it can flip. Your turn.
Haven't been flipping all week. Okay, I got to get used to miracle drawing. I'm not.
Wait, did you draw Terminus?
No.
Okay, because that would have been bad.
I just noticed that I was snapping into my hand like I normally do. Yeah, no flip.
Standard usuals. Your turn.
19. End step, I'll opt.
Sure.
I do think I want that land, so I'll keep that one. Now I'll play Field of Ruin and pass the turn.
Bolt you. I feel like I'm not going to have too many targets for that. So I'm just going to start throwing some damages at your face.
Yeah, that's fine. 15.
Go.
On your end step, I'll Field of Ruin the Mutavault. This could be fixing Todd's mana for him by giving him a second island here, but... Oh, I guess you can counter this with Obstructionist.
I'm not, unfortunately. That would have been tight, though.
Yeah.
That would have been... You need to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Because that's a sacrifice as part of the cost.
Well, I wanted to set this up so I could then path here on this Delver.
Okay. I still have one floating.
Yep.
Now I gotta think about what I'm doing. I think I just let it happen. That's fine.
Pass.
EOT.
Resolves.
Target me.
Sure. Oh, pass it. Don't think the extra mana is super relevant at this point. I guess now he's at 5. That's like 3 mana creature plus 2 mana counterspell.
Mm-hmm.
But
He's done a good job of containing my threats, though, and that's problematic.
yeah, well, my opening hand had 2 paths and an opt, so
Fair enough. All right, untap. So we were basically running into Cryptic Command in that spot, but I think that's okay. We just really need to get some pressure down, and I didn't want to play this and then him just play like a Jason bounce it, because then I'm going to have a pretty tough time of beating it. So, your turn.
pass.
All right, in a turn, Snapcaster Mage.
Sure.
Bolt you.
12. Yeah, you can keep going. I'm just a little... I may have screwed this up.
Attack.
10.
I will play a Delver.
Yep.
Go. Probably going to get hit with a Verdict here. Fine with basically anything else. Don't think Snapcaster by itself has enough pressure on its own.
Pass.
Trigger.
Yep.
That's a good one. That's a real good one. Draw.
Yep.
So now I have to think for a second, because if I declare attacks and he like activates Colonnade to block, and I burst lightning it, and he goes like path number million or whatever, I basically am tapped out. He gets to path this, take 2 down to 8. And then he gets to untap against Snapcaster Mage at 8 life and probably play like Teferi. What else could it be? Could he have like Snapcaster Mage here, I guess, maybe? I don't know. All right, I'm just going to tag. See what he does.
I have Snapcaster Mage.
That resolves.
Target path.
All right. Before blocks, I'm going to burst lightning the Snapcaster Mage.
I will path the aberration.
All right.
Got a remand?
I will attempt to remand.
Yeah, that's going to work.
Okay. And that stays exiled forever.
Yep. I go to 5.
Yep. So 5 to, I'm still at 20, I believe.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Miracle slowly.
Yeah, the Steamans.
Okay, I'm at 18.
Yeah. Oh, I got a negate.
I have Mana Leak. Is that good
Mana
enough?
Leak, yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, I should have been jamming threats earlier. I think I just had like expensive things, and I just started jamming them into counter spells as quickly as I could. I think I would have been able to resolve at least one of them and do more stuff. Mm-hmm. Instead, I'm just dead.
Yeah, that's one of the dangers of playing blue-white is that if you don't just start slamming your big stuff into counter spells, eventually you're going to get bottlenecked on mana where you can't play 2 spells in the same turn.
Yeah. I should have just been slamming. Okay, we're here for sideboarding. On my side, I don't think Jace is very good in the matchup. Todd has a million lightning bolts, so it's really hard to brainstorm with it the turn it enters. And it also does a bunch of 3-power flash threats and creature lands. So Todd has a Mutavault in play and 3 mana up. If I resolve with Jason +2, he can just flash in a threat or bolt plus the Mutavault attack and take it down, which is just makes it really tough for this card to land. I'm keeping 1 in because I want at least one way to get a Terminus from my hand atop my deck if I need it. And if I deal with a lot of Todd's threats, it's still a really good top deck. But it's definitely not a card I like. And if I had more cards that I wanted to bring in for my sideboard, I would definitely look to cut all the Jaces. But I also think Detentions here is really bad. Just slow sorcery speed removal is really awkward in this matchup. And if it ever gets multiple cards, which is really unlikely, it could still just get countered by cycling Nimble Obstructionist, which is a huge blowout. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to get both Detention Spheres out, and that left room for 1 Jace. Bringing in a couple Dispels, this will make it a lot easier for me to defend my big threats.
Right.
Like I'll just wait till turn 6, play my Teferi, Dispel Todd's Counterspell, and hopefully the Teferi will resolve. Timely is obviously great against the heavy burn deck, and then it just will usually trade for like a Snapcaster and a Mutavault if I get the 3 tokens out of it. Mm-hmm. Probably not going to be able to slam down turn 3 to get the tokens, but should be able to get them. And then Lyra is just a really hard card for Todd to deal with. It really needs to Disdainful Stroke or Mana Leak this one. If it gets in play, it's going to be, at worst, a 2-for-1 for 2 burn spells. And if it ever connects and I gain 5 life, that's almost game over.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it brick walls my entire board and also can start just chunking in and gaining you 5 life a turn is pretty tough. From my side, I have this weird conundrum. Like, I need ways to be able to answer Jace the Mind Sculptor, but I think that my 5 or 6 3-power flash creatures on 3 are good enough, because even if he ticks up on it, I still have 2 Burst Lightnings and 3 Lightning Bolts, as well as Grim Lavamancer. And if I just draw one of my creature lands like Mutavault or whatever, that can threaten to combo kill the Jace. Luckily for me, he's boarding it out. You saw me kind of dancing around. I think Lavamancer is better than these 2 cards, just simply because it's a threat that at some point you have to deal with it, because it threatens more damage than something like a Bolt or a Wizard's Lightning. So there's that tension there that I'm kind of worried about, and I'm not sure how many burn spells I should actually cut. I think Burst Lightning is okay because the games are going to go longer. I'm going to get hit with Path to Exile, and Burst Lightning can single-handedly take care of a Celestial Colonnade, which is pretty good in the matchup.
Yeah, you really need an answer to Colonnade. Otherwise, once I get to 6 mana, it's hard for you to attack.
Yeah. Other cards that I considered cutting, I don't know, just mainly burn spells, since those are generally good against creatures, and just dealing 3 to your opponent's a good way to close out the game, but you don't need to draw that many. Like a Snapcaster Mage alongside 1 Lightning Bolt is usually enough direct damage.
Okay, we're here for game 2. I'm on the play, and I have this one of in my deck on turn 1, which is exactly when it's best. And we got some interaction and some lands. Looks like a good keep to me.
All right, my side, we have a lot of things that can play at instant speed, which I think is good in this matchup, and we have some land, so I think it's fine.
Okay, I'll start with a Suspended Ancestral Vision.
That is pretty good. Hopefully I draw my Spellstutter Sprite. All right.
Or Nimble Obstructionist, right? Like.
Yeah, you can do it
when the last,
the last counter comes off, yeah, and then it says cast it if there are no counters on it, and you can stifle that. And it's not one of those reoccurring triggers.
And then it just stays exiled forever. Man, yeah. Obstructionist just keeps coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe Hoogs is onto something here.
Dude, I think Obstructionist is tight. Oh, Hoogs.
Yeah,
Hoogs.
His nickname is Hoogs.
All right, I'm at 17.
He may not know it yet.
But he knows it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to play an Opt.
Sure. Oh, you're going to 17 then?
Yeah. So it's a land, which I kind of need, but I think actually, I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to gamble. I need a second blue source, but it's not that big of a deal.
Hold on. while Todd's tapped down, there's nothing I'm going to interact with him here for, and if he has the one spell stutter, I really don't want this op to get countered, because I need more lands.
All right, so this is my draw for turn. I'm going to go ahead and play in case I draw another one. Say go, because I'm definitely not attacking with a Mutavault next turn.
Okay, I'll play Field of Ruin and pass.
Go.
Don't think I need to Field of Ruin now into an Obstructionist. So yeah, let's go to
on your on your upkeep. I'm going to play a Snapcaster Mage.
That is fine.
I'll target opt and pass priority. If he wants to just tap out for Jace here, I'm fine with that, because if he bounces or ticks up, his Jace is not really getting that much value. All right, so cast opt.
Sure.
The 5th land actually might be worthwhile, so we're going to keep it. At this point, we have plenty of spells. I'm tapped out.
Yeah, still while you're tapped out, I'm not going to Field of Ruin. I'm going to resolve my Snapcaster into an opt. And I'm going to bottom that one. Block.
I'm fine making this trade. I just want to clear the way for some stuff. Delver, fetch, go.
On your end step, let's pass the Delver. Ancestral goes down to 1. And Field of Ruin. Pass turn.
I'll fetch down to 16.
In response to that fetch, I'm going to Field of Ruin the Mutavault while you don't have 3 mana for Obstructionist.
Yep.
I'll find a Plains. Oh no, my Lyra Dawnbringer was on top. That's a good one.
Oh no. All right, untap.
Yep.
Go.
Another one.
Another one.
Okay, I'm sure you got it.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and get it out of here.
Yeah, nothing I can do about that. So it's going to stay exiled.
So just the minutia for everyone at home.
Yep.
So you don't say stifle this trigger. You say this is gone.
Yep.
This says I try to cast this, and then you stifle the thing that says I try to cast this, and then it stays exiled forever. If you do it the other way, it just keeps one counter on it, and then it repeats the cycle next turn.
Because it's at the beginning of your upkeep, remove a counter from it. When you remove the last one as a separate trigger, cast the spell. So now the last one's already gone, so you can't get that to trigger again. So it just sits there. And I will pass the turn.
Go.
Pass.
All you?
Sure. 17 all.
Snapcaster Mage.
Sure.
All right, bolt you.
That's fine, and then I will
So you're 14.
Field of Ruin the Mutavault.
Sure. Go.
Cards in hand.
6.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you got 5, about to
Yep.
go to 6.
Ooh. Touched my hand, but that's okay. Miracle trigger.
Sure.
Cast it.
Yeah, dog. That's fine.
Yeah. You can go.
Get him. In a turn, I'll play an opt.
Sure.
Keep that one. Play Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah.
Target opt, cast opt.
Yep.
Bottom. Draw. Untap. Draw. Attack.
10.
Go. Careful.
Search.
Remand it.
Sure. Search.
Oh, mana leak it.
Mana leak your mana leak.
Mana leak it.
Okay. Pass the turn.
It's a fight that I kind of wanted to have right there. Not really, really, but I'm okay with it. Attack 8. Let's hope I don't get hit with... yeah, go. With a Supreme Verdict.
You got 4 in hand?
Mm-hmm.
Pass the turn.
Interesting. So probably snap path. Okay. Untap. Upkeep.
Yep.
Trigger 1. Draw.
Sure.
Declare tax.
Yep.
Spell stutter. Target. Path.
I think I'm really dead.
I agree.
Spell setter resolves.
Target path. So, little known, if you haven't played much against Spellstar Sprite, it checks on entering the battlefield and it checks upon resolution. So you can let Spellstar come in, target path, and then kill the Spellstutter.
Snapcaster.
Yeah, that's fine.
Target path.
Thinking. So I can cycle Nimble Obstructions here to counter the Snapcaster Mage's ability. And that would make it so that, yeah, I'm just going to do that. Whatever. Cycle Nimble Obstructions. Target Snapcaster's ability.
Sure.
All right, so path gets countered.
Yep. Lock.
Yep.
I'm a 2.
All right, go. I have a bolt, but I'm just going to basically wait until the safest possible moment to cast it. If he forces my hand with something like the gain 6 timely reinforcements, then
Fetch to 1.
all right.
Get a planes and pass the turn.
Okay. Upkeep. Draw. I don't know if you have Cryptic Command and want to tap my stuff on upkeep. Just waiting.
Yep. Before you attack, Cryptic.
All right. Stroke it.
Yeah, I'm dead.
There. Had it.
Okay, here we are for game 3. I have a hand with some of my better cards in the matchup, so I'm definitely going to keep. And
All right. Yeah, my hand's pretty great.
Yes.
I don't know what else to say. I got some Delvers.
You going to 17?
Yeah.
Yeah, Todd's life total is not very taxed in this matchup, so.
No, I do have to be cognizant to keep it not in increments of 4, just because Colonnades and Snapcasters and stuff can do me dirty in some spots.
This search should help a lot, helping me make land drops, and then eventually like ramp me a little and find me good spells. Turn 2 search is really good.
Attack.
I go to 17 as well.
So I can gamble a little bit here with an opt to try to find a blue source to play Delver, or I can just play Delver. I think I just play Delver. Go.
Trigger.
Yep.
You really need to hit another land. This card is pretty good, but it's not something I really want to cast right now. No, it probably is. Okay, I'll keep it.
Okay.
I convinced myself. Pass.
All right. Trigger Delver.
Yep.
All right.
On your upkeep, I will path this aberration, force Todd to take a different draw if he wants to get the land.
I'm fine with a different draw.
This has been an issue. Like my early removals are all paths, and I've been ramping Todd a lot, and he gets ahead in mana and has mostly cheaper counter spells than I do. And I haven't been able to effectively win counter wars as a result.
Your turn.
This is why I was wary of taking that path, but the double Delver draw is so threatening.
Yeah.
Upkeep search.
Especially because I flipped him.
Okay, that is a land, even though it's not a great one. Timely reinforcements.
Do I even care? I mean, you're going to fight it with the Dispel. I'm almost positive, so
Yeah.
guess I'll burn a Remand here instead. Yeah, sure. Like, he gains 6 life, so he goes back up to 20, but the 3 creatures doesn't matter against the Delver right now, so.
That's a race.
Sure. pretty sure I'm going to win that one. Let's go ahead and opt.
Sure. Back to 17 all.
Go. You're
Upkeep,
technically
trigger.
ahead in this race. You know. Terminus? Play it. Play it.
I both want a second white source and want to fill my graveyard here, so I'm actually just going to Field the Ruin again while Todd doesn't have 3 mana.
I'm going to float a blue.
Oh, this awkwardly lets you play a 3-drop, though.
Just do it. I don't have 3-drop.
Got a plains. Attack for 3.
I'm going to use the blue to cast opt.
Okay. I do still have another Field of Ruin for a creature land coming later. Attack for 3.
Okay.
You're
14 all, or 14, 17?
Pass. I'm going to play a Snapcaster before damage.
I will attempt to Mana Leak said Snapcaster Mage.
Yep. I go to 14 all.
Yep. What am I actually afraid of here? So he's gonna flip his Escanta. Oh no, he can't. He can't flip
Yeah, I'm more
with this. I was thinking the Field of Ruin could go again. So I can hold up a counterspell.
I can Field the Ruin with the trigger on the stack. Or
I don't have lands.
Oh, you don't have non-basic. Yeah. I can have an opt here.
Yeah. I also have like think twice on your upkeep or something. Like, I don't know. Sometimes
Pass on my upkeep.
Yeah. Trying to think of what the most devastating play could be. I don't know if I actually want to play my Steam Vents because I don't want him to flip his Escanta yet, so I'll just play this as I go.
Okay, upkeep trigger.
Yep.
Don't need this one, so we'll move towards flipping it. And attack for 3.
Yep, 11 to 14.
Yep. And I'll show you the most devastating play.
Yeah, we could have played around that one.
Pass.
This sucks for you, though, because I can kill it pretty easily. All right, shock, burst bolt it.
So you got a 9.
Yep, then I hit you for 6, put you to 8.
Got 8.
Your turn.
Upkeep search. You
get to flip regardless, right?
Yes, I get to flip regardless because of the Lyra makes card 7. I'm assuming Todd has a counter spell, at least a counter spell here. Flipped all your Delvers immediately this game.
Gasp and gas. That's what it feels like.
Can I win this game? The question, I think, is can I win this game with just like a removal spell here that successfully lands? Okay, well, that one's going away then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got you covered. I think it has to be Supreme Verdict. I probably shouldn't have gave it away. I don't know how many verdicts you got. So I guess if it's Terminus, you could hit Terminus plus Activatus Canta plus Counterspell.
Yeah.
I guess you could draw Path plus Activatus Canta plus Path. I shouldn't have showed you my hand.
Activatus Canta.
That was stupid.
So
Oh,
close.
no.
So close.
Oh, no. Probably should have been that Path earlier. You'd have been right on time. What you got? Game still going, or?
Yeah, I just got timely to try to gain 6 life here. That gets negated. I attack you to 6.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
All right. Attack you.
I go to 2. I'm tapped out.
Bolt you.
That's another cryptic.
All right, so I think that was a pretty resounding success for Blue Red Delver. The 2 wins that I had on the day felt really good. The Storm decks, I think, decks like Storm, if you play against something like Infect, maybe even Affinity, I'm not sure. Decks that have a bunch of small creatures that don't really have a lot of card advantage to be gained, I think this deck could be good. Various combo decks that rely on a lot of cheap spells, I think that this deck could be good. And slower control decks, I think I think this proved. I mean, maybe Jeskai a little harder because they have more spot removal that's not Path to Exile, and they can contain my threats more easily.
They also have things like Electrolyze that are really good. They have Helix to gain some life.
Yeah.
That matchup's definitely going to be harder, but I still think it's pretty good. Overall, maybe you need something like Blood Moon in the sideboard for them as opposed to Alpine Moon if you really want to focus there. But you still have the tools. At a strategic level, you're ahead because you're the deck that has a lot more flexibility in what they're doing. You can play proactively or reactively. They can only be reactive. Maybe their spells line up better against you, but they're still having to resolve some big spell to win the game, and it's hard to do that against you. Granted, maybe they can run you out if they are able to stay with you early with the red removal, and that's sort of their game plan, but definitely blue-white. I had to path early, and then you just had too much mana, and I couldn't ever resolve anything important. The cryptic commands were heinous. They just never did anything good.
Yeah.
Never had a spot to use them in.
Honestly, I think this deck could be a pretty good Cryptic Command deck. I really like Cryptic Command in these flash-based, if I'm playing almost all my threats on your turn, at some point you're going to have to tap out to do something relevant, and that's when Cryptic Command really shines. Back when Splinter Twin was legal in Modern, we had versions that played Tarmogoyf as a way to apply early pressure aside from the combo, and having cards like that not only were a lightning rod to protect your other stuff, but they also just made your counterspells better. When you play these cheap things that force your opponent to interact with you, counterspells like Remand and Mana Leak, and so, to some extent Logic Knot, get better. And that's one of the reasons why we've seen counterspells be rather weak in Modern as of late, is because no deck really plays counterspells alongside pressure. And this deck does a great job of doing exactly that, and that's why the counterspells have looked so good.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Cryptic Command could be good. I agree there as well. I also think Cryptic Command adds the element, like the old Fairies decks, of being able to race some bigger ground creatures that your removal isn't as well geared towards, especially in a matchup like Humans. We saw on Wednesday when we played that, I just sort of overwhelmed you, and the only game you were able to win was a game where you were able to stay with me early, keep some creatures off the battlefield with removal, find a window to land a threat. You landed a Vendilion Click, I believe.
Yep.
One of the 3-power flyers, and then just ride that while using your removal to contain my board, and a Grimlawmancer. So, and if you're able to cryptic, if you have Cryptic Command, you can afford to fall a little bit further behind to land that threat than you would otherwise.
Right. And
then use the burn aggressively to close them out while you get maybe one Time Walk or a second one with a Snapcaster or a second Cryptic. So in those matchups and like Tarmogoyf matchups, I think Cryptic could be pretty helpful.
Oh, for sure.
And the deck has the land count to do it at 22, I believe.
Yeah, 22.
Probably play 1 or 2 Cryptics in your deck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty solidly in the camp of playing Cryptic Command in blue decks that have pressure that play around 20 to 23 lands. I've played quite a few Teamer box decks that had 21, but I also had in those versions a lot of times I had Gitaxian Probe as well as Serum Vision, so I was able to have smoother draws early on. Plus, the Cryptic Command wasn't like a hinge of the game plan. You know, I had a lot more stuff to do in the early turns, whereas this deck's pretty dense at 3 mana, and that may be a problem or even a reason not to play Cryptic Command, because you have so many things that cost 3, and you don't want to have too many cards that don't do anything on the first 2 turns.
Yeah, Spell Stutter isn't great in the format, and not as great without Bitter Blossom to keep it relevant at higher mana costs. And beyond those in Snapcaster Mage, there aren't really other good flash threats at 2 mana. So you do end up a little bit bunched at 3, but I still think you can fit a couple Cryptics in there. Maybe you cut one of the 3s, I don't know. It didn't seem like you, in a lot of matchups, you needed a ton of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Obstructionist proved that it was just good.
Yeah.
Like, probably better than Vendilion Click, and I did not expect that. That was definitely out of left field. I was just like, haha, it's a dirty bird, or whatever. I don't know what the smart bird.
I don't know.
It's got some bad nickname that's like, I don't know.
It's a bird.
It is a bird, but it's also a wizard.
Does a lot of stuff. Yeah, that was a wizard. It countered Ancestral Visions and Oblivion Stone this week, and I can't remember what else. It threatened to counter Field of Ruin. I walked straight into it without thinking about it.
Yeah. I countered a Snapcaster activation.
Yeah, Snapcaster trigger, an Aether Vial trigger to mess up when I was trying to mess up things inside combat. So a lot of different things that the card did, and then sometimes it just casts a 3/1 and attacked. So
yeah,
a lot of versatility with that card. I think that was one of the more impressive cards on the deck in terms of what I expected out of it going in and what we saw this week.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely value to playing Vendilion Click just as a creature that can disrupt your opponent's hand on occasion. It can loot away a dead card from your hand on occasion. And it's an effect that you get by casting it, whereas Nimble Obstructionist, you only get the effect by cycling it. So you can't apply pressure on top of doing the ability. You know, I wonder if they're ever going to make like a real stifle bird, like, you know, a flash creature that stifles that.
There's no way that one's costing 3.
Well, it's a 3-mana 2/1. 3-mana 2/1 flyer stifle bird. Stifle bird.
You don't want that card to exist.
I kind of do.
Yeah.
I just like watching stuff burn.
Yeah, we'd start playing mono blue, all islands.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? Tempest Gin?
Yeah,
Tempest Gin gets up in this beat?
Tempest Gin's my deck?
Yeah.
I like this deck.
Yeah.
Andrew Brown, get on that.
Trick bind? Yeah. Anywho, that's going to be all for me and Ross this week. We had a lot of fun running this Blue-Red Wizards deck through the Gauntlet. We played against 5 different archetypes. We lost 3 of them. I think with slightly better draws or a slightly different configuration, I could have maybe shored up those matches a bit. We lost to Tron. We lost mostly due to the fact that once you hit Tron, it's just very difficult to contain from any fair deck.
Yep.
Against Mardu, I had a pretty tough time beating Blood Moon, which was surprising.
You had some mana issues that Blood Moon compounded, and then that combined with Lingering Souls and a healthy amount of cheap removal.
Right.
And then Humans, you just sort of fell behind in 2 of the games and weren't able to really catch back up and weren't able to gain traction.
But to be fair, I won 1 of the 3 games against Humans, but game 1 was very close, and I think with just slightly better draws from my side, or slightly worse, like your draw wasn't even that good. You drew
1 for sure.
You led with Cavern Aether Vial, which blanked half my deck or whatever. Like it blanked all 6 of my 2-mana counter spells, my Spellstar Sprite, Spell Snare. They're all just dead.
Yep.
You know,
the 8 cards you sided out.
Yeah. After game 2, I think was really a showcase of what Humans does to decks like this after sideboard, where you have all these 2-for-1s with things like Sin Collector and Bugler, but also your deck is just now built to go long now that Bugler is in there. Being able to copy a Phantasmal Image is huge, and you just have a lot of really different problem areas for me to address, and I just couldn't.
Yep, and I think it's important to note, though, that the 3 matches that you lost were all 2-1s, and the 2 matches you won were 3-0s. Playing from my side, Storm and Blue-White, I felt helpless. Mm-hmm. Whereas the other 3, I felt like I was getting a slightly better end of the draws.
I got stuck on 2 a lot.
Yeah, you had some mana issues. And while I think Mardu was solidly ahead, and Tron a little bit less than Mardu, but still ahead, I think the Humans matchup is okay. Pretty close. So if you take the entire weekend summation, you won 9 out of the 15 games, 60%. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a great deck.
You just didn't distribute
buy
your
it.
game losses that well. And sometimes that happens. Like, we play 2 matches that are really, really good for you, I think. I think Storm, Blue-White, Miracles in particular, with the higher emphasis on
Storm was
expensive
surprisingly good. I didn't think, like, okay, every time I think I have, like, a pretty good Storm matchup, it usually gets turned on its head in some way or another, or it's way closer than I ever wanted it to be. Like the first time that I tried playing Storm, I played against humans and I just got obliterated. They played Athalia. I didn't draw one of my 2-mana creatures. They played a Meddling Mage on Grape Shot, and that was before people played Unsubstantiate, and I just died.
Yeah.
And then the first time I played against Storm with humans, I'm just like, I tell Freebooter, hope that you don't have it next turn. I have to draw a Reflector Mage this turn or I'm going to die. So, I think Storm's just insanely powerful. And the fact that this deck 3-0'd it, and none of the games were close, just means that I think that Nimble Obstruction is pretty busted against the Empty the War.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing it did. It countered an 8-copy Storm Trigger, or 9-copy Storm Trigger from Empty the Warrens. That's another thing it did.
Yeah.
It did something in every single matchup.
Nimble Obstruction was dope. Love it.
I guess that you didn't cycle it against Mardu, but you had it for a while against Bedlam Reveler, and it does counter that. It's just everything, all important
does
things.
it all.
So
anyway,
I came away in the overall, even though it lost 3 out of the 5 matches, somewhat impressed with this deck. I think there's some potential there. As I said earlier in the week, I think there's definitely potential for Wizards Lightning as a card, and just starting a deck with 4 Wizards Lightning, 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Snapcaster Mage, and figuring out what other wizards you need around it is really good.
Is Tasigur a wizard?
Probably.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm going to look that up, because there could be a Grixis, Delver, Snap, Tasigur. I don't think it's a wizard. He's probably like the king of the bananas or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's a shaman. Well, I was close. Wizards are shaman-esque.
Yes.
Anyway, that's going to be all for me and Ross Merrim this week. I hope y'all enjoyed this Gauntlet-style series. I know I did one of these 2 weeks ago with the Bant Spirits deck against Todd Stevens. Last week, you played against Todd Stevens, playing just in preparation for the Pro Tour last weekend.
Did a lot of team constructed.
We're trying some new stuff here on the Versus series, so please, if you have any suggestions, or if you'd like to comment and tell us that you like this format, or you'd rather us try something new, give us some ideas.
Yeah,
give us some feedback. We need it.
We got a lot of positive feedback the first time the 2 Todds did a Gauntlet, so that's why we're doing it again. If you tell us you like something and you watch, and then we're going to keep doing that.
Yeah. We don't. What else?
That's what we do. Yeah. So tell us what you want us to do, and we'll do that. That's what we get paid for. If you want us to dance around while we're playing, probably not going to do that. But reasonable things.
I'll dab on somebody. Don't.
Do that against Brad.
No, he does it against me all the time. It's so annoying. He'll just be like, he'll just like be playing. It's like. Anyway, thanks for watching the Versus series by StarCityGames.com. For Ross Merrim, I'm Todd Anderson. We'll see you next week.